Folks, this is a short video segment that I'm doing. We run into this situation all the time. Students, when they're assigned, for example, a problem, they solve the problem using finite elements in Catia, generate the part, generate the analysis, and once they're done, then they decide to rename these files in a very unusual way into, for example, problem one part, cat part, and problem one analysis, cat analysis. The problem is that if you don't do this thing properly, Katia will lose the link, lose track of what needs to be loaded. And when you try to run the analysis again, or try to uh, uh, bring it up by double clicking on it, it comes back with a message saying that part cannot be found. Basically, cannot be found. That's really what it means. Now, uh, of course, things can be done properly using the uh, what is that thing? Using the can't remember. Let's see now. Using the file save management. And but let me show you what happens and what can be done in order at least to recover your analysis. So let me start with the part file. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to make something. So let me actually save this thing. File, save management. This is the proper way of doing things. Save as on the desktop. I create a folder. I'll say test links. How about that? Okay. So I'm going to put all the stuff in here. All right. So on this plane, I will sketch. Let's make a rectangle, palette, apply material to it, metal, aluminum on that part. Okay, so save this one more time. Clicking on the floppy will automatically go to that folder and basically saves it. So now we're going to switch to generative structure analysis. Let's clamp this in. The actual problem is irrelevant. I just want to show you what happens when the links are basically lost. All right, so we're going to run this thing. Obviously, it's going to be bending, no problem there. Okay, and then I'm going to save the analysis. File, save management, this analysis, save as, in that folder, which was called test links. I will save it there. All right, so let's say I did all my work. Then I decided that, you know what, because these are to be marked or whatever, why don't I go to that folder, which is right here, and just rename these things. So I'm going to rename this thing to be problem, let's say 1, and this part also to be renaming it to problem 1, problem 1. All right. So when I come next day and try to run problem 1 analysis, it's going to come with this message, first of all, saying that basically cannot locate part 1 because I renamed it, remember? Now it says to fix it, go to the desk, which you can go either clicking here, or if I accidentally close this, I can do it from here, file, desk. Either way. So it'll take me there, and it shows you that this part 1 is in red. In other words, doesn't know where it is, doesn't know what to do. So if you go here, and by the way, let me before I do that, let me go back here to this link. Notice that it says that this part 1 was not there. Basically, that's what it means. So let me, you can, by the way, still run this thing. You can still run it. You can still run it. The problem is, and you can plot the deflections, for example. The problem is that when you say, okay, where are these restraints, it doesn't know. Or where is the load, it doesn't know. If you click on the pressure, it tells you what the correct value is, but it doesn't know where it was applied. So this is why I have to go and basically, uh, instead of part one, I should ask Catia to look for that problem one cat part. So that's where we go to file, we go to desk. Remember it was red, couldn't find it. So put the cursor there, right click, links. Okay, there is, let's expand this thing so that we can see it better. Okay, so there is this link one for cat part one, basically that it lost it. So I'm going to say replace this instead of looking for cat, uh, instead of looking for part one dot cat part, look for, go to that folder problem one. And then we say, okay. Notice that this is no longer red, and it's, you know, it's replaced, that part one is replaced with problem one cat part. Now I'm going to close this. Notice that now you can actually see where the clamp is applied, where the pressure is applied. Okay, now I'm going to save this, okay? I click on this so that the analysis is saved in that same folder with the name that I changed it. Remember, it was changed to problem one. Now, let me close this, go back to that folder, double click on analysis. Notice that this time it does not tell you that thing could not be found. It takes problem one cat part, and basically you can figure out where things are. Where is that static case? Here's the clamp. Here's the load, etc. One thing I can tell you is that when I do this on my other computer, which is not connected to the OneDrive at the university, I don't even get this message. But for some reason, I don't know, for some reason, when I do this, I still get this. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it's still trying to locate that part one .cat part, which doesn't need it, by the way, because I properly let the software to go and use problem one .cat part instead of trying to look for this name. So on my other computer, which is, by the way, using a different release of Catia, a more well, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I suspect that it has something to do with this OneDrive business. But anyway, uh, because when people go unilaterally change these names, when it comes to us marking these, we get this message. We don't know where. We don't know where the restraints are applied, where the pressure is. We can still run it, but we don't know where these are applied or not, where these are applied, which makes a big difference in trying to assess people properly on what they have done. But it's impossible to do this thing for every student, because after all, some of them actually delete inadvertently, not only get, uh, don't rename it properly, but sometimes they also discard or delete the actual file. That's even worse. Anyway, that wraps it up. So notice that, see again, I close this thing, I come back 3 days and I go to that folder and double click on it without any issues. It comes back with the file properly identified. Now, let's try one more time. Let's try it again. Let me close this. Let me go here, rename this thing to be problem one, but I'll call it where's that rename? Hang in there. Rename problem one new. How about that? New. Good. Oops. All right. And the same thing with this part. Generally speaking, students, well, I mean, it varies, of course, but Some of them may be doing only one of them, rename one of them, but you're still going to run the same problem. Double click on it. It says, hey, I can't find cat part one, and I can't find problem one. Okay, so you go here. I mean, you remember, you can still run this thing and see how the results look like, but you don't know where things were applied. But notice that it says I can't find this thing. I can't find problem one cat. So we go to the desk, file, where's that desk? Remember, this is red, so put it there, right click, link. Now, this is the one that's causing a problem. We say replace it, go to the new one, say okay, and we say okay. Notice that it's no longer red. This is no longer red. Close that, and now you can see your restraint where they're applied and load, etc. Now, if I save this thing and close that and go down here, run this thing analysis again, it will tell you that I can't find two of them. The original part one, problem one. But okay, I understand that, but that may be an issue with that OneDrive thing because it doesn't happen to me on the other computer. All right, good luck. Yeah, please make sure that you save properly. Do not go and just rename stuff because we may not be able to check your work. We will not be able to check your work.